obviously, we have talked about the areas that have received historically cold temperatures so far this summer, and it would go for a lot of areas here in the east, especially, and at times areas in the southwest, but that has been iffy at times. Areas that have seen nearly historic warmth have been these areas in the upper Midwest and the south central United States. So today, we're not focusing on the areas that have seen and are potentially going to go down as a record cold summer, one of the top 5 coldest summers. We're going to talk about some of the areas that could go down as the top 5 warmest. We have a huge contrast in the United States, and I've seen your comments. The people down in Texas, the people down in Louisiana, and the people in the upper Midwest are so confused by why I'm calling it a record cold summer because of how hot it has been in those areas. I mean, so much difference from the areas like the Carolinas and Virginia versus the areas in the central United States. So I don't want you to think that I'm changing my mind here and calling for the opposite of what I've been calling for. We're talking about entirely different areas that have seen entirely different conditions here today. And I am so excited to talk about that with you guys. I am also extremely excited to announce to you guys my new business, Prestige Weather. I have a business partner and a team of forecasters on hand to deliver the best one-on-one weather experience of all time over there on that website and community. So be sure to check it out in the description and pinned comment down below. It is only $5 a month, and I promise you it is a very, very in-depth one-on-one weather experience. In today's day and age, with the intense weather that we're having and extreme weather consulting has never been this important. But the problem is that all weather consulting companies deliver to stores, they deliver to companies, usually very, very high dollar companies and businesses, and they have no interest in delivering direct to consumer or the everyday person for such a low price. Well, we saw the opportunity and we wanted to deliver on it because my audience is obviously mostly the everyday person. And we wanted to deliver a service to you guys that would be much more of a one-on-one experience, much like weather consulting. That is literally what it is, for the everyday person for an affordable price. And that is exactly what we're doing. And with how extreme today's weather is and just all the things happening every single season, it's never been this important either. We're going to be doing weekly forecasts, daily forecasts in there. We're going to be doing live streams, live events, me and my partners. We're going to be talking about all the things you want to know about. It's going to be Q&A fashion, so you guys can ask whatever you want. And also, for potentially limited time, we might do it forever. We're testing it out, but we're going to be doing weekly calls to you guys. We can do it in-app or we can do it by phone number. It's up to you. And we're going to be doing 30-minute to 1-hour sessions with you guys and basically just delivering whatever weather forecast you need. Let's say you have something going on, an outdoor event on next Saturday. You need to know what the weather is going to be like. Well, we would be on call that Friday to let you know what that weather is going to be like, or maybe Thursday. Maybe you need to know ahead of time. Whatever it may be, we are going to be on hand, able to give you a call once a week for whatever event you might have. So we're doing that at least for 1 week. Be sure to check it out if that's something that would interest you. Other than that, we have our exclusive community that is also direct to consumer, very one-on-one. We have multiple customers already from launching it yesterday, and they are extremely satisfied, and I hope you would be as well. Again, it's only $5, so it's the price of a coffee. Definitely worth checking out today. It's, no risk. You can always cancel after just the first month if you don't enjoy it, but I'm sure you will. So be sure to check it out again in the pinned comment and description down below with instructions on how to join. Anyway, let's get into things. And as you can see, like I've been mentioning in this intro, very hot in the upper Midwest so far, very hot in the south central United States as well. Then as you can see, about 75% of the nation has been below average across the Southwest, and especially here in the East. It has been just no heat up until just about now. We've started to finally see some here in the eastern states. So there's some stark difference here across the United States, and it's led to a lot of confusion. So I'm hoping to clear a lot of that up today. We're going to break down the future temperatures in a little bit. We're going to walk through things the way we normally do, which is going to be the storms first here. And as you can see here on Sunday, the 25th, we receive plenty of rainfall here across the southeast and the northeast. It's going to be a lot more isolated today. The further north up the coast you go, the more precipitation is widespread. So we're seeing a lot of New England seeing more widespread conditions. We are going to be having an enhanced risk today as there is this kind of this low up above everything here, bringing a lot of rainfall. We're going to be watching primarily these areas here for that severe weather, where again, there is an enhanced risk today. We see that flare up, and then even tomorrow afternoon, especially Virginia, North Carolina here, maybe even South Carolina and up the East Coast, we have an enhanced risk as supercells, yes, supercells east of the Appalachian are expected to potentially develop in these areas, bringing potentially large hail, which is very, very rare east of the Appalachian Mountains. We actually have a hatch risk area for hail, which means 2-inch diameter or larger hail is possible in Virginia and North Carolina and South Carolina and some other states as well up and down the East Coast. But that's the primary area, and that is shocking, okay? That is extreme for these areas in the eastern United States. After those couple of hours in the afternoon, we do see this develop into more of a linear storm mode where there is a wind risk here actually on the eastern side of things. So from Raleigh, Richmond, and kind of the Delmarva, and you take that southeastward, we're going to see a more linear storm path move through there, and that's going to bring a wind threat with it and really just kind of bad thunderstorm conditions. But the hail threat kind of diminishes a little bit after that point. Still a threat, but we don't have that hatched area going on for those areas, so they haven't specified that as quite as bad. Now, Tuesday, we actually have a marginal risk up and down the East Coast as well, so another day of severe weather for these areas, and you can tell that there's plenty of storms around in general because this low is still hanging out, and that has been the primary factor here. Wednesday the 28th, we still see scattered about rainfall in these northeast areas, and look at the temperature pattern. We can totally tell there's this massive death ridge, if you will, going on here. That's been a term that's been going around for a couple of years now, and this is really just causing crazy warmth. We were talking about potentially breaking the record temperatures for Texas. I think it's like something crazy, like maybe like in the 110 to 120 area. I mean, just absolutely insane temperatures that they were talking about potentially having in these areas. So definitely not been record cold for Texas. I want to clarify that right now. That is never what I intended to get across, because that has been nothing. It has been nothing but the opposite of that, basically. It's been a record heat. Matter of fact, as I've talked about, we still see storms here in the Northeast by Thursday, so this is not ending anytime soon. We do have this rain up above where the jet stream is doing kind of this, so that's why it keeps sending it around Texas and then into the east. Texas, high and dry, hot, and that's gonna worsen the issue, obviously. By Saturday here, we could see some storms for Texas or for Oklahoma and Arkansas, but again, not dipping quite far enough south to kind of fizzle out some of that heat down there. So still looking at some pretty dry conditions. Over the weekend, it does look quite stormy for the east. As you can see, another low, a little bit weaker this time, does move in, and this does bring some storms with it. So Saturday, kind of Sunday time frame, we will be watching for something like that. And then we get more of these finally southern storms moving through, maybe a bit of a ridge in the west and a dipping here in the east. And what we see is more storms and more cooler air potentially moving into Texas and Oklahoma, which would be a really, really nice relief from that heat, especially with the rainfall happening. This is what we can all hope for, obviously, for that would be the 3rd of July. And then here's the 4th of July evening. Unfortunately, maybe a little bit rainy for these southeast areas. Definitely need to watch that closely for everybody's fireworks and celebrations, outdoor events, things like that. So we need to be watching closely for that. This is kind of, not to make another promo here, but that's exactly what Prestige Weather is going to be perfect for, is since we're going to be offering that more one-on-one experience, if you guys have plans for the 4th of July, we can be on hand to answer those questions and help guide you through that. It's more of a consulting company than anything, and I really wanted to give more of a one-on-one experience. Again, we have called the members that have signed up to help them get in to the community and get set up. So we are delivering a very, very one-on-one experience, and that's what we hope to be able to deliver to you guys. And actually, this week at least, we might extend it towards the future, but for this week, especially and guaranteed this week, we are offering one free consulting call that's 30 minutes to an hour for every single member that signs up. So if you want to have me or my partner or some of our other forecasters that we have on our team, if you want to have us call you for 30 minutes to an hour with a consulting call, if you have any weather concerns or anything you need to know about kind of on a more one-on-one basis where you can ask questions, we are offering that for this week, potentially extending that further into the future. We're kind of testing it. We want feedback as well. So if you're interested in anything like that, it's $5 like I mentioned in the description. You can find that. Head to our website and sign up today, and we'll get you started. Now, when you sign up, if you want us to call you to help you sign up, you have to put your phone number in when you purchase, which is an option. So be sure to do that if that is what you want. Now, as we get into the total precipitation here, as you can see, plenty here actually for the south kind of Gulf states, deeper south area. This is because of that heavy rain that shows up at the very end. The Northeast sees the most here out of anybody, so they will be far above average. And then the upper Midwest and Great Lakes will also see quite a bit because they get pretty persistent scattered thunderstorms, and that does add up. So that is what we're seeing for a lot of these areas. Just more of that persistent scattered thunderstorm activity happening day after day after day. And, that adds up. It just keeps coming, and it adds up eventually. So that is certainly going to be something to watch closely. Another thing to watch closely is look at how much tropical activity we have out here. Not necessarily tropical development, but in the tropics there is a lot of activity, and we're going to have to watch if any of this wants to develop because there is plenty of storminess happening in those areas, especially for how early in the season we are. This has been crazy to see, to say the least. Now, as we head into the temperature pattern, as you can see, this is what things are expected to be like for the next 7 days or so. So colder in the east, like we've seen before, colder in the west, like we've seen before, and then far above average here for the south central United States. This is about 10 to 15 degrees above average here in very far western Texas. I know it's a pretty isolated area, but people are out there, and that has been extremely hot. These are the areas that I've been talking about that have been seeing record heat potentially. So very, very hot. Now, as we take a look at days 7 through 14th, that'll be the 29th through the 6th of July, the 29th of June, 6th of July. Colder still here for the mid-Atlantic, so that hangs on for dear life. We still see some warmer temperatures set up over the south central, and now we're beginning to see the west actually warm up as well, which would be considered a positive PNA here. What this would do is, over time, potentially encourage more cooler air to move into the east, but we'd have to watch that closely. Let's see, so the 6th through the 13th of July, which will be our next time frame, we see kind of neutral temperatures in the east. Probably this model's losing a little bit confidence if or not it's going to be cold here in the east. Over time, these ensemble models, which this is an ensemble model, they kind of do what I call averaging out because there's so many different members, the ensemble of models here, and it's mixing all of those together and coming out with an average. So when you have them going in different directions, you kind of just come out with this white. It's indifferent, okay? So there is no cooler warmth, but it's probably certain models calling for 5 degrees below normal, certain models calling for 5 degrees above normal, and that comes out to averaging at normal. So that is what we're looking at here. They're a lot more confident, though, as you can see, in this warmth out west and for the central United States to continue, and this is why I think we could see a historically warm summer for some of these areas as this warmth just persists, because we've already seen it through June. And if we continue to see it through July and maybe even into August, that is going to set up for a far above average summer. And look, it even gets hotter here. We see the orange increasing. So this could be a worsening of the issue. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but that is all it is I'm just delivering the news. So I don't want anybody to get mad at me here, but I think it could get worse according to this model. Still a little bit neutral here in the east. Again, I think they're lower confidence here in what's going to exactly happen there. That does happen quite often in the longer range. And for the 20th through the 27th, we get even warmer compared to normal for the plains, the south central, the north central United States. This is a much worsening issue here. And we see warming again from the 27th through the 3rd of August. So a lot of heat could be on the way here, guys. I hate to say it. And then finally, the 31st through the 7th of August is our final time period. We still see neutral to maybe below average temperatures here in the east. Might even be colder than this because there's probably some loss of confidence. But look at all the warmth out west and for the central United States. If this extends all the way through August 7th, and we've already seen it from June 1st to now, look out for potentially one of the warmest summers of all time, like I've mentioned, for these areas. There's going to be people in the comments that are going to be like, well, you've said it's going to be the coldest summer of all time. But what people don't understand is, I'm not talking about from coast to coast. When I said coldest summer of all time, I meant the east. When I'm saying warmest summer of all time, potentially, I'm talking about the central states here. So there is a stark difference. Be sure to correct those people in the comments because I don't always get to it. I don't know why people just don't even watch the video and then comment, because you really take it out of context that way. But you know, it is what it is. Any comment is a good comment, and it does help the algorithm, so I'm not really complaining that bad. But it is, you know, a little bit discouraging to see people so confused. But that is the day and age we live in. You know, people just don't have the retention to watch a full video or take things in full context. That is 2023 for you. I think everybody would agree on that one. Not to get, you know, it's just people a little bit confused, and that's okay, I guess. So anyway, be sure to check out the Prestige weather. Like I said, I mean, it is an awesome service, and we've already been serving a couple of customers now, and they've been extremely impressed with how just personalized it is. Again, we've made phone calls to these people, we've helped set them up. We're setting up, hopefully, at least this week, we're going to do one call to every single customer for 1 hour, 30 minutes to an hour, and we might do that moving forward weekly. So be sure to check it out. It's only $5 a month, like I mentioned, the price of a Starbucks coffee. Definitely worth looking into, and all our customers have been extremely happy so far. So I hope you would be as well. It's going to be a great opportunity for me to get more content out there for you guys, and I just hope you guys enjoy it. So be sure to subscribe. We do upload videos like this every single day. You can even hit the bell icon for daily notifications when we upload, so you never miss one. Be sure to like the video if you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.